How do you stop DeAndre Swift?
Yeah.
We'll start with the good stuff.
Let's start, you know, unless he comes down with a cold or something, the idea is, you know, great elite players, it's hard to stop. You know, what you got to try to do is you got to try to minimize the difference-making plays that they have, and you know that's going to be a big challenge for us. You know, they've got a lot of guys that can make difference-making plays, but obviously he sort of leads the list, and he's a really special back. He's explosive, he's compact, he can run for power, he can run with speed, he can catch it out of the backfield, he can run routes. He's really that complete package, and you know, we've been seeing it for a couple of years now, and you know, he's sort of in the spotlight. You know, he's taking advantage of that. So we, you know, that's obviously a big priority for us to try to know where he is on all over the field whenever he's on the field.
Is there anything extra on top of what you normally do when you're preparing, you know, for just a physical opponent, for what they bring on the line, especially just with just that size that they?
Yeah, I mean, I think the way you match physicality is you practice physical, and you know, we've tried to preach to the guys all week that, you know, you can't just show up on game day and it be, you know, I'm going to match them physically. You've got to you got to train your body how to strain, and you got to train your body how to make violent contact and strike with your hands and your pads. And so, you know, we've worked hard this week at that. And, you know, the guys understand, you know, what kind of battle they're about to go into and what kind of environment we're about to go into. And we're going to have to be very prepared mentally and physically for a 60-minute battle.
Right, how would you assess your inside linebacker play recently? I know tackles aren't necessarily always the most accurate description, but how are those guys playing?
They're playing okay. You know, there's some things that, and they would be the first to admit that they need to clean up. But that's across the defense. I would just say, really positionally, we're just playing okay. You know, as a defense, there's so much more we can do. We can be so much cleaner in terms of how we fit, how we tackle, you know, how we communicate. And again, I wouldn't single out the inside backers as a group more than any other group. But no, you know, I know coming out of the Toledo game, you know, there was a lot of energy and hype, and they're performing well. They're having to do a lot. We put a lot on those guys inside to communicate, to make a lot of different run fits. And you know, it's a long season. You get beat up, you get sore. You know, so we've got to make sure that we try to stay as healthy as possible and rotate as much as possible. You know, to be able to make it through the entire season. You know, at a high level.
How do you deal with a quarterback like Fromm, who's pretty? I mean, a super accurate guy. I mean, especially coming off a game where he, you know, wasn't so accurate. When he's probably going to be more intent on it.
Yeah, every athlete has good games. Every athlete has games that they would like to perform better, and he's a really talented quarterback that throws the ball really well in terms of accuracy, and so you know he's going to come back and he's going to be razor sharp. We know he's going to have a great week of practice, so that, you know, obviously you've got to be ready for that. You can't expect that you're just going to walk in and you know, I think he had one interception maybe on the season going in, and ended up, you know, having a couple. So you can't just count on that. But what you're going to do is we're going to try to play as well as we can. You know, get some pressure on them, and you know, get on some wide receivers. Hopefully, we got a chance to make a play, and when a play presents itself, that we make it.
Glenn, how much development are you seeing just in your time here from Calvin Taylor?
Yeah, huge amount for me, and I know others. You know, for Coach LeBlanc, if mine's huge, his is monumental. But he plays so much more physical, you know, than you may just from first glance give him credit for. But he plays strong. He plays active. He plays with a passion. He's so much fun to be around. You can tell that he just loves football, and so that growth is made the player that he is. You know, arguably the most consistent and arguably the most dominant defender we've had. Now we need him to come up big again this week, and you know, we need all those guys. Everybody on defense got to step up, and I think the coaches have done a great job. You know, from a positional coaches from teaching technique, installing the game plan, and we've got to go down there and we've got to execute a pretty flawless game plan to play the level that we expect to play at.
I think you guys are like 29th in pass efficiency defense. How much progress do you feel like, or improvement you feel like you've made in that area, especially with such a young secondary?
Yeah, I think stats can be deceiving. So I don't know where you are in ranking and all, but we're getting better. We're not nearly where we want to be, but I think a lot of it stems from I think they're practicing hard, and that's a big piece. You know, you've got to practice the right habits for them to show up in the game, and they're trying, and they're Coach Klink and Coach Hood do a great job with those guys, and obviously Coach Stoops knows the secondary as well as anybody. So to have three great coaches back there helping them every single day in terms of technique, in terms of eyes, in terms of leverage on receivers, they've grown quite a bit, but there's still quite a bit of growth left, and we'll have a big challenge with the stable of wide receivers that they have, and with Fromm throwing the ball and his accuracy, we're going to have to be in the right spot, and then when the ball, like I said, when the ball's in the air, we got to go make a play, and I think we've done that in some occasions, and we've let a few occasions the ball go through our hand. When we got an opportunity to take the ball back and give it to our offense, we need to do that at every opportunity.
DB's playing physical like we did Saturday, and had some misfortunes. Do you coach them any different?
No. If you coach them to play soft, then that's what you're going to get, and you teach them to play aggressive, and it's like anything else. Every once in a while a flag's going to happen, and sometimes it's playing. You just sort of put it behind you. And
it's a different week.
That's it. And now we're not just going to grab and tackle guys. We're going to play with good technique. But if somebody's getting physical with us, we'll get physical with them, and we'll go from there. But no, we're not going to change the way we teach.
Is this the best challenge you've seen from a wide receiver group?
I mean, it's up there. Florida had a pretty talented group as well. So, and I think that's a positive for us in that they've at least seen that before. Now they know that they're going to they got to face it again. But that's why you come to the SEC. So week in and week out, you get to face really good wide receivers. From a running back standpoint, I think this is arguably the best group, individually and collectively, set of running backs that we've seen. And then, what we don't talk about is the offensive line is just they're big, they're physical, they're road graders. They're good in pass pro, so we got a huge challenge in front of us, with those guys. So across the board at all three levels, we're going to get stressed and strained, and we've got a strain to finish and see what happens.